Message hasn't changed. You can see we're in Pella and we have a great crowd again. If all these people go out and bring 10 of their friends, I think we win the Iowa caucus. But in case you're not signed up yet, go to MikeHuckabee.com, sign up. January 3rd, we're going to send Governor Huckabee to New Hampshire with an Iowa victory and on to the Republican nomination for president. His message is great. He's holding strong. 6 more days, January 3, Thursday night. We need everybody out.
Governor Huckabee, why I like him is he has such great moral standards. You know, when he says something, you can believe it's the fact because he keeps his word. I like the way he says yes and no, very clear, very forward, straightforward. There's not that deception that when you get through, when he gets through talking, you know what he said. It's not like he wondered what he was talking about or what side of the issue he's on.
Things like neighborhood and family and community, and where going to church is not an oddity, it's an expected thing to be done on the weekends. I just really do appreciate all of you coming out today because, frankly, if this same event were happening back in Arkansas, nobody would be here. I can tell you right now. First, because I was speaking, and secondly, because of the weather. And between the two things, it would, I'm sure, keep everybody away, but it always thrills me when this many people are willing to pile into the back room of a pizza ranch at 9 o'clock in the morning, and I want to say thanks so very much for being here, especially those of you that have brought children. And the reason I say that is because I don't know of anything that kind of keeps me going on these long and grueling days when we've operated 20 hours on 4 hours sleep, and we're going to different towns every day, and constantly people are asking questions from the media and taking every word and seeing what it means. And when I get out in a crowd and I see faces of children, I'm reminded of why we're doing this. Same reason I ever got involved in politics to begin with. People asked me early on, why are you doing this? And there were moments that I had to stop and think, why am I doing this? But back in those early days when I first decided to run for office, and my wife and I took a long walk around our neighborhood, came to the conclusion that we needed to get out of the stands and on the field, get our jerseys dirty, make a difference in this world, not simply complain about what they were doing, but become the they, and to start trying to make things better. We did it for 3 reasons. John, Mark, David, Sarah, our 3 children. And sometimes when I'm speaking, I love to point out students in a crowd, and I'll find one that maybe is 20 years old, and I'll say, this election is a whole lot more about you than it is about me. And the reason that's true is because I'm 52 years old. If I live out my life expectancy, you know, I have 30, 35 years left, maybe 40, just to kind of bug some people that I'd hang around that long. I think I'll just do that, you know. But the point is, a lot of my life decisions have pretty well been set where I received my education and my early adult life, kind of figuring out the long-term retirement ideas and all that stuff. So when he's 20 years old, hadn't finished his education yet, has all of life in front of him, probably 65 years or more. And the decision of the next president is going to affect that person's life a lot. All during the time that I was governor, I try to remember every single day, and we had a saying in our office, that if this doesn't help the life of the 7-year-old kid having breakfast in Dermont, Arkansas, then it's not worth doing. Now, Dermont is a little town. It's in the heart of the Arkansas Delta, which is the most impoverished part of our state. There are places there where the unemployment rate is double-digit. It's almost impossible to change. It's a transitional area where there's high poverty. There are places that would certainly challenge anybody's view of poverty in terms of just sheer need and want. We always use that picture to remind us that it wasn't about necessarily sitting there and waiting on a high-powered meeting with folks who pretty well had their life all set out in front of them. It was about what was going to happen to that 7-year-old kid in Dermont who's eating breakfast this morning. What kind of school is he going to go to? Will it help to prepare him so maybe he can come out of poverty? What kind of health care system? If he breaks his arm, can he afford to have the arm fixed? Or will he live with the scars and the discomfort of it for the rest of his life? What kind of roads will he drive on to get to and from school, and will his parents get to and from work? Will they be able to get home to him in time, to spend some time with him and actually raise him rather than having him out on his own? Will he be able to enjoy the beauties of this earth? One of the goals I had as a governor was that every kid ought to be within a bicycle ride of a fishing hole. I've always believed that if a kid had a fishing rod in his hand, he probably wouldn't have some destructive idea to hurt somebody. He would be so high on life that he wouldn't need to be filled with drugs. And we started a program called Hooked on Fishing, Not on Drugs. Introduced it to public schools. Kids learned all about the ecosystems. They learned all about science, but they didn't know that. What they thought they were doing was just going fishing. But they learned more than fishing. They learned discipline and patience, and they learned the rewards of doing well academically so they could be a part of the Hooked on Fishing program. But what it really did, it helped them to bond with the fact that they do live in a world that is very special and precious, and they needed to take care of it.